If you have had a psychedelic experience and that psychedelic experience was so blissful, so delicious that you just want to replicate that feeling in your daily life, then this video is for you. Because this video is about psychedelic integration, right? How do we take what we've seen in the psychedelic experience and apply it in our own life? And I don't know if you've noticed, but one thing that made the psychedelic experience so blissful is that you were just being with what is. And to do that in daily life is quite challenging, especially for high performers, entrepreneurs, creatives, you know. For people like us, it's challenging to just be. And today I want to talk about the integration process of what makes the psychedelic experience so blissful and so beautiful, and how we can actually implement that in our life and tangibly, feel the difference on our Monday morning in our day-to-day. So hey, I'm Virgo from Psychedelic Actualization. And over the past 10 years, I have journeyed through many different psychedelic journeys. But sometimes it was still quite hard to not fall back into my old patterns, because daily life is just so busy. And in daily life, the mind is very active and it says, we gotta do this and we gotta do that, and I don't have time to do this, or it's not useful to just be and do nothing. Right? We navigate all of these different factors of our environment, of our survival needs, of our job, of our relationships, of our passions. All of this stuff is going on. So how do we integrate what we have seen and experienced in psychedelic space? So the process of the psychedelic actualization pathway that I walk with my coaching clients through is to basically build it on a pillar called capacity. We need to build the nervous system capacity to hold this different state of consciousness, to hold this different vibration, this different quality of being. And a lot of that has to do with our body, with our nervous system regulation, with our groundedness and our stability in our day-to-day life. So to come back and zoom out a little bit, what is it about the psychedelic experience that's so blissful? Sometimes, some are very challenging. What is it that makes them challenging, right? As I mentioned in the beginning, sometimes, what I've noticed is that what makes the psychedelic experience blissful is the pure quality of being, of doing the shift from doing to being, of not having to do anything. Sometimes a psychedelic retreat or psychedelic ceremony is even so precious and beautiful, not because the experience itself was so beautiful, but because we prioritized our own development. We prioritized our self-inquiry to look inwards, and we took time off, from our busy schedule and said, this is a time for me just to be with myself and look within. Because what are you doing when you're taking a psychedelic? You take a psychedelic and then you lie down and you just listen, right? You intently just listen to what is present within your experience of life. And that's why all these emotions are coming up, all the processes are coming up. But the space itself, the priority to create the space itself, is valuable and blissful in and of itself, right? And sometimes it's also, in a retreat setting, returning to the simplicity of connecting with other retreat participants, just having a gentle chat, just having the integration time throughout the day of an ayahuasca experience, just to be in nature and just to bask in the beauty of all of it, and that in itself is valuable. And in the psychedelic experience specifically, it's amplified. And what makes them challenging? Usually I found what makes psychedelic experiences challenging is my resistance to what is, to the moment as it is. It's me not wanting the experience to be as it is. So how do we take that bliss of just pure being and of just pure listening and apply it in our daily life? So this is where the challenge comes in, right? This is where the tension, where we need to hold the tension of navigating our day-to-day life and just surrendering it all, to the silence. Because we do have to navigate life. But what I do with my coaching clients is to set boundaries in place that protect your energy. Because we all do have things that we know are draining our energy. It might be that you're scrolling on the phone a little bit too much. It might be that you're working just a little bit too much, and it's kind of like this productive procrastination that you're doing just to do something, right? An addiction to doing. It might be that we're playing video games, or it might be that we're going out too much, and drink alcohol, or whatever it is for you. There are some things that we know are not good for us and that drain our energy, right? It might also be related to our environment, to our relationships. And what we do is we set one or two clear energy boundaries in place that protect our time and protect our energy, which then creates space to just be. That's the important part, not to create space to do more different things, but I really want to communicate the value and the importance of just simply being, right? Because that is what the psychedelics are showing at times. It's the value of just being with yourself without any kind of distractions. That might look like just laying down and just, these stones are not comfortable, but just laying down and resting for 15 to 20 minutes. It might be a simple meditation practice, observing your breath, or just sitting in pure satisfaction and appreciation of the present moment. But the key part is to do nothing in the space that you create. And that drops you into the beingness of just presence, which then leads to bliss. Because just pure existence is consciousness, and that is bliss. One of the key insights of psychedelic journeys of mine is Satchitananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, from the ancient Indian Sanskrit. So that's one practical part, right? And we can formulate these in different ways and put kind of like keystone habits in place and a regulation ritual that allows you to ground yourself, that allows your nervous system to calm down and relax for a little while. Because that is the most challenging part for many high performers who have had psychedelic experiences and then return to their daily life. That it just feels too difficult just to be, because we fall back into the old habit and the pattern of doing more than we're being. So to start with this tiny little bit of space for 5 to 10 minutes a day to just be is one beautiful integration step. If you want support in integrating that, shoot me a message or book a call. I do offer psychedelic integration coaching, where we walk through a 90-day program of setting a clear direction for your life, identity alignment, developing this deep self-trust and confidence within yourself and your path, and setting in the capacity, the nervous system regulation that allows you to actually follow through on your direction. So you wake up on Monday morning excited about your direction in life, confident in who you are and clear about what you're doing, and you have the nervous system and the energy to actually follow through and to actually feel good on a day-to-day basis. All right, much love. If you're curious about a deeper psychedelic masterclass, then you can click this video right here. See you.